CBC's expert says, well, we're on the West. You were very much for human rights and all that. The thing is, though, is if objective research would be done by, let's say, an international organization, we're not really for human rights. We just might be a tiny bit, or maybe not even more than those we judge. So again, if you can't see yourselves as who you really are, and then you judge others by your limited information, you are reality compromised. So this could be part two of what I mentioned this morning about the state of the human condition, about its, why it's kind of, it shows you're a good person if you kind of very much disapprove with the actions of your own species as a collective, right? Not this person, that person, or there only, or at that time. No, if you've been alive as long as I do, and let's say you would have had access to the right information about what's going on in the world, yes, you should be, if you're a good person, very disappointed with your species, very angry with it. Look at how useless the UN has been. So the UN, let's say the International Criminal Court, let's say suddenly there's a miracle that happens and they become human. Okay, they really become human level sentience and sapience, as they already think they are. They would have to also issue arrest warrants against most of their members and themselves as staff, as high officials, because when Koreans, I've been at war with Koreans for that long, and Russia and Ukraine that long, and Palestinians and Israel that long. All of this happening is not a sane species. Now, it's very possible that, as I said in a recent video, China is about to move on Taiwan. That's horrible in a lot of ways, okay? But I'll talk about that later. But how do we know for certain, with what's coming in the future, that a more united, somewhat similar ethnicity is not a good thing, right? For the families, let's say, in the future, when these forces merge. But Koreans should merge, English-speaking countries should merge. But the thing is they'll just give you a lot of BS about shared values or not. Really, they're all bad. They're all bad. And so let's say China invades Taiwan, and I have to say things about that. If somebody asks me, then what I would say is, yeah, it's kind of not okay, right? But I kind of understand a little bit some advantages to it with what's coming in the future. And what's coming in the future is we can't stop ourselves from being a screwed up species that'll always be in conflict with our own selves. Again, if there was extraterrestrials wanting to invade us, it would be the easiest thing. In the building here, it's horrible how people are unhappy, and yet they will fight against change or problem solving. They will attack those that step up in leadership roles for problem solving. There's no adults here, and I'm the youngest one. So it's sad. I mean, I'm going to put a poster that defines lateral violence that I'll pay for to be printed at the library, and I'll say, well, this is what's happening here. So people get the neighbors and dysfunctional, unhealthy, toxic community they help to create. You get the landlord you deserve here. So again, it's all about us seeing ourselves as who we are and deciding to learn the right skill sets or not. So coming back to the topic of whether it's bad that things want to get bigger, like China reabsorbing Taiwan, and I'm not sure that's the right term to say it, it could be that history shows that it might have been a good thing for people from Taiwan. How am I to know? Now, people might say, Martin, you got to defend democracy. I don't know of one country that does democracy the right way, in a fair way and transparently, and isn't mostly about its elites. It's a fake concept because it's not done by human standards. So as much as I want to say, oh yeah, no, it's not a bad idea, but it is a bad idea because we have a largely ignorant population in all the countries that are democratic. Some are have more access to education, and but people don't always choose it. It could be free university, and some countries might not even see a lot of the people take advantage of it. I'm trying to get into a PhD program where I will give a lot of myself, and I'll never be able to find one because money needs to be moving from there to there. So that's not education, by the way. And I can give you a lot of examples in Canada. That's not democracy. That's not the voice of the people. You don't arrest people who want to say something in between elections. You don't do that if you're a democracy. So again, people, if you can't do democracies well, and by the way, as I said before, China does democracy better. They just do it differently. They do it as a large group of political elites, but the rest of the time it's, a little bit out of the hands of the people there. Now, are those people happier or unhappy compared to a country that would be nominated as the most democratic in the world? I don't know. And again, it depends. Some people might say, yes, we are happier here, but is it really about the democracy part, or is it about other things? For example, where you live, right? What priorities were decided, which could have been decided without democracy. It just turned out like that. So people, just look at yourselves in the mirror. Stop judging others as a way to justify your own stagnation. Because if people say, well, Martin, are you for or against China invading Taiwan? Well, neither. I'm actually for thinking as a real Homo sapiens can, because if you have a good variety of human thinking tools, that's not even the right question.